Hi, my name's He Who Is in the Water. I'm going to be playing a League of Pauper here, and we're doing something a little bit different today. I'm going to be brewing around my favorite card, which is Mardu Warshrieker. It's a 4-mana 3/3 from Khans of Tarkir that has the ability Raid when it enters the battlefield. If you attack this turn, add red, white, and black mana to your mana pool. So, I started playing the game during Born of the Gods, and Khans of Tarkir was like one of the first formats that I really got to like learn all of the cards and start thinking about the game at a higher level than just immediately what's in front of me. And Mardu Warshrieker was like really a card that I attached to right away because it was fixing for an aggressive deck, which is like a pretty interesting sell in limited, as well as playing really well with just dwarf creatures. At least in theory. I did not do well in that format, but I had fun. And the dream of Mardu Warshrieker has kind of stuck with me over the years in Constructed, and definitely became a meme in the play group I had at the time, how much I enjoyed this card and still do to this day. So in Constructed, it's pretty different to think about this card because it's still unique, but in more different ways. Where like you don't really have creatures in Magic the Gathering that generate mana on ETB. Like there are a few, and they see play with various degenerate uses, but specifically white and black mana are not really typical colors of mana to be made there. So I wanted to start thinking about what are powerful effects in the Pauper format that I can play with this. And the two that came to mind right away were Ephemerate and Galvanic Relay. Ooh, can I spell Galvanic? Apparently not. So these cards stuck out to me as like both individually playing reasonably well with Mardu Warshrieker. Ephemerate, typically used for its value purposes of, looping with Archaeomancer. It could become Dark Ritual here with Mardu Warshrieker. And Galvanic Relay is typically, you're getting up to Storm 10 or 11 with this card, but you can cast it off of just Mardu Warshrieker for Storm 2 and draw 2 cards as a kind of a free thought cast on your Hill Giant, which is not really a powerful enough thing to do in in a constructed format as powerful as Pauper is. But then you start thinking about throwing Ephemerate in the loop, and things get a little interesting. And these 3 cards together suggest to be in the Boros colors. This is definitely a deck that I'm trying to build around Mardu Warshrieker. I'm not trying to build the best Ephemerate deck. I'm not trying to build the best Galvanic Relay deck. Those look very different for a lot of reasons. And putting all of these cards together and just like, what can I do with this? It suggests to me that you want to try and build a kind of critical mass combo deck in Boros colors, which is really not something that those colors do. White is the fairest color in all of Magic and really doesn't get to do a whole lot of combo shenanigans. But the mana that you get from Mardu Warshrieker opens that door a little bit where it really wouldn't be open before in other cases. So I'm going to try to do something a little bit fun here with all of those pieces. And this isn't going to break the format by any stretch. I'm not intending to do that. It's just having a little bit of fun with this meme card that I really enjoy. So what I came up with was this. And now you may look at this and say that the American education system has truly failed everybody. And for the most part, that's true. And this is some pretty statistically significant anecdotal evidence in support of that hypothesis. So let's break down why that is a little bit more. So we've got the pillars of the deck that I was talking about. We've got 4 Ephemerate, 4 Mardu Warshrieker, 4 Galvanic Relay. We also have Mardu Warshrieker's younger cousin that's like actually playable, unironically, which is Burning Tree Emissary. So we don't really have a use for green mana, and double red is hard to come by, but it is free storm for Relay. It lets Ephemerate Ritual off in another way, so it's pretty useful to have access to. And then we've got 3 different cantrip creatures in Thraben Inspector, Spirited Companion, and Priest of Ancient Lore that are going to help us generate resources, play well with Ephemerate, and be cheap enough that you can cast them on a Galvanic Relay turn. Generally, in terms of power, Thraben Inspector is the best, then Priest of Ancient Lore, and then Spirited Companion has kind of been the worst, despite being the fun new card to try from Neon Dynasty. It just has not played quite as well as the others, but it's still been a useful upgrade for this deck. It was rather convenient. I had this built before Neon Dynasty spoiler started, and then Spirited Companion certainly was a nice one to see as far as another reason to give this deck another shot and try to refine it a little bit more. We've got some other creatures in the deck as well. We've got 4 Lunarch Veteran, which really just supports us doing all of our dirtling activities and cantripping through our creatures. And then we've got 1 Ardent Elementalist in the main deck to try to access some inevitability with Ephemerate. Another source of card advantage that we have in the deck is Reckless Impulse. We have all of these creatures that cantrip, but Reckless Impulse actually generates card advantage because Spirited Companion is only card advantage, so to speak, if the 1/1 matters. And most games, it's probably not going to matter. So Impulse here lets us get the ball rolling even more, which is important because we need to hit our land drops in the early turns. We have a few lightning bolts here for just the bare minimum of interaction and trying to keep ourselves alive. And then our linear payoff is Massive Raid, which is 1 red instant that deals damage to any target equal to the number of creatures you control. So this is kind of our plan to try to play through our deck, get like 10 or 11 creatures in play, and then Massive Raid upstairs after we do some chip damage with our creatures. And that's kind of like our best case scenario of what a game looks like. And we can recur it with Elementalist and Ephemerate, or we can just draw 2 of them and try to go upstairs that way. The mana base is a little bit different than like a stock Boros mana base. We are running few enough lands that I don't think you can play the 4 Garrison, and I've also opted for these Lorehold campuses to give us more red sources for Burning Tree Emissary. I don't want to just have like more planes in that slot, even though it might make sense with how base white our deck is. We do want to try to be casting this Burning Tree Emissary. The Lorehold campus is also pretty nice because having the ability to scry with this gives us something to do on turns where maybe we don't have enough resources to go for relay, but we still want to like advance our game state a little bit, and just having that scry one is nice there. Thraben Inspector also plays really well in that situation where just like spending your turn cracking clues, playing lands is good, and then you can have a nice big relay turn the next. And when I say big relay turn, you're looking at this deck and probably saying, Water, how would you ever get a big relay? And the truth is we don't get huge relays, but we do get to relay for 2 to 5 pretty consistently. And it's pretty interesting in that way where 2 to 5 is like plenty enough card advantage to keep us going long into the game with this deck. It doesn't need to be the 10 cards that Storm sees with their relays. So that's been a big part of my enjoyment of tuning and playing this deck so far is Relay and Ephemerate are just operating in vastly different ways than they traditionally do in Pauper while still being powerful. And that's been really just exciting to mess around with. Moving on to the sideboard, the main issues that we're looking to solve with this deck, like the biggest issue that we have is going to be sweepers. Aside from Warshrieker, everything dies to Cannonade, most things die to Suffocating Fumes. And that's a pretty big problem. However, I think a common misunderstanding in Pauper sideboarding is you don't get to beat fairies with your jank deck. I can't add Reaping the Graves and Splash Black. I can't add Late to Dinner and try to go off with Ardent Elementalist and like access all of my creatures again that way versus fairies. That's just not going to happen. We're not going to beat fairies. We're playing a jank deck to start with. So adding let's say, Lumith Red Field to play around Electricity better, play around Suffocating Fumes better. It's just not really realistic because the rest of our deck is going to be so not threatening to them on the basis of just Counterspell and Ninja being huge issues that I don't think you realistically get to solve those problems in the sideboard. So I don't want to devote slots. Instead, I have opted for more cards that can cheese games or just work well enough with the other parts of our deck to give us a couple good matchups out there. Lone Missionary, pretty obviously going to be good against Burn. We have 4 Ephemerates, we've got Lunarch Veterans, so we can pretty reasonably just outpace Burn with ease. 4 Prismatic Strands, I know I just talked about not playing around Cannonade. I'm going to bring this in for Cannonade decks, but I'm not playing Strands with the intention of, oh, this card is going to stop Fiery Cannonade from destroying my deck. It's not. It's just maybe we counter it once and like we get lucky, but it's just not super realistic. But it is going to be good if we come across any monocolor aggro decks or just linear decks in general. So the aforementioned Burn, and if we play versus Elves, we can lock Elves out with Ardent Elementalist or recurring Prismatic Strands via Ephemerate. And that's a pretty powerful line to have access to post-board, and so I have 2 additional Elementalists here to give us this kind of prison-y package to board into. And we also have 4 Dust to Dust that play with these Elementalists well and can hopefully just disrupt Affinity enough to buy us enough time to assemble our meager board and start beating down. So, also we have 2 End the Festivities here. Again, it may look like a card for Fairies, but I think I really just wanted this as an additional sideboard card for Elves that also plays really well with... Not really well. It plays better with Impulse and Relay than Electricity does because you get to overload it for just 1 mana, and that can be useful if you're trying to storm off. You don't necessarily need targets. You can just cast it out there, and it's more agnostic to the time of you cast it than Electricity is, which can be very awkward in this deck. Like, for example, I tried Pyroblast in the sideboard here because Pyroblast is really amazing in the Pinger Storm sideboard, and that just really did not function here, where we need our relays to deliver better cards as a consequence of having smaller relays. Like, they need to have all good cards, and like when you relay for 2 and you hit like Land and Pyroblast and you don't have action to force on the next turn, it just is really bad. So I don't think that's the kind of axis that we want to be fighting on here. So I've played 2 leagues with this deck, and I went 2-3 in the first one and 0-5 in the second one, just to give you a taste of what we're here for. So I'm not hopeful that this deck... let me rephrase that. This deck cannot trophy. We're not going to trophy a league. We're not going to cash the league. At best, we're going to go like 1-4. I think if we 1-4, I'm going to be very happy with this result because it's been a fun deck to play. But my goal here is just to have fun with it. We have a lot of interesting interactions that are just kind of fun to puzzle through. And I've really enjoyed the process of trying to tune this and make it a bit better. And it's exciting to just use common Pauper cards like Ephemerate and Galvanic Relay in a very surprising way. So that's kind of my thoughts on the deck. And I'm sure I'll have more to say along the way. And I guess we'll hop into the games. All right, here we are for round number 1 versus Warlord USA. Warlord USA probably has the distinct privilege of being one of the few people I played against in the previous leagues, so they actually might know what's going on here, which is unfortunate, because surprise factor is going to be most of what we're banking on. Yeah, this is quite frequently I've been running into them. Yeah, so this hand's just not acceptable. And this hand is adequate. So I think I'm just going to put back the Massive Raid here and try to get the rest of this to work. And I think I'm okay just running the Veteran in here, try to get in for a chip point of damage. Alright, they got their own Thraben Inspector. That's fine. No attacks with the Veteran. So I guess I wasn't super explicit in the deck tech, but that because there's so much to go through, I was can't cover everything reasonably in a second. But the purpose of these cheap creatures is that we can throw them away to get raid with Mardu Warshrieker pretty comfortably. Garrison's a great draw here. So Lunarch Veteran does that very well, where the flashing it back can be a pretty useful thing to do. And we do get value on the back half. And we don't mind if it dies. So there's just some good upside there from having all of these small creatures around to enable Warshrieker. So they're playing, mid-range Pest, which is awesome. I'm very jealous of them. They're probably going to destroy us. But we have a good target for our bolt here. And we might just be hitting a small ball relay for 2 here, which is fine. And we'll see what we can come up with. All right, we hit Spirited Companion and another relay. Okay, that's good. We can do stuff with that. Having the basic in hand here is going to be pretty helpful. Warshrieker's likely going to be able to attack in this turn. Priest is an interesting draw here. So now if we hit Ephemerate off of the Spirited Companion, we could blink the Warshrieker. Okay, but that's not what's going on here. Okay. So yeah, we'll just relay again here and draw 2 more. Plains Mountain. Okay, pretty poor, but that'll be alright. So Pestilence is going to be the real problematic card here that we can't really deal with. Guardian's not great, but we can get through it. Okay, interesting. Okay. See, this is what I mean. What do I do with this turn? This is tough. Maybe not tough, but this is a pretty already just in uncharted territory. So I could attack with Lunarch Veteran, use that to get my raid trigger, since the life gain is not going to be as hugely relevant, and this flyer is probably going to be important since their Guardian's not going to be attacking for a while. Yeah. So let's do that, and then we're probably going to go Warshrieker into Priest, probably play Plains, see what happens from there. I think I want to Ephemerate Priest right now. Draw again. Okay. I think we'll play the Plains here. I don't think it super matters. But we can actually get to another pretty big relay next turn, because we've got Ephemerate coming off Suspend. It's going to be Storm 1. Veteran can be Storm 2. Or it can be Veteran or Priest from hand. And then we'll have the... So we can get Storm 3 pretty easily. And then we've got a couple more draw steps. Okay, so Pestilence for 1. I think I still target the Priest here, even though they just kill it in response with Pestilence. I think this is fine. So let's Priest of Ancient Lore. Okay, Burning Tree's nice. And then we play a land here. Oh, I probably should have played Relay. Or the Garrison to pick up a basic. Now we get a nice little Relay for 4. Do I want to trade a Warshrieker off with a Thraben Inspector? I don't think so. Although we're pretty dead here, I guess. Just unlikely to really come back from having our board wiped this many times. I don't believe even in the sideboard we have a way to really interact with the Guardian. Or this enchantment, so that's bad. Oh, why is this so small? Plus. Okay. Let's start off with an Impulse. Okay, we got Veteran. It's a Spirited Companion. Ephemerate, Spirited Companion. Draw another. And then I guess we'll bolt upstairs since we're losing this. Hope that maybe through like pacing out our threats here, we can like force them to Pestilence too low. I say that like they can just pest once a turn, and like that's a lot of our resources exchanged for very little of theirs. They have their own priest. Interesting. I have been enjoying priest in that list. Okay, here's our 4th relay. I don't think we can get too big this turn. So let's get Spirited Companion in there. Yeah, let's sandbag a little bit here. See if maybe they let me keep Companion alive for 1 turn, and then I can attack, play like Warshrieker, Veteran, Relay for 4. We get a nice little scry 1 on end step here. 2nd Guardian, no problem. Absolutely no problem. They fear. I don't blame them there. It is basically impossible to say anything about like correct or incorrect decisions from an opponent because they have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I barely know what I'm doing. So they're thinking about things that probably aren't in my deck that are scary. And that's a smart thing to do. But my deck is bad, so they don't actually need to worry. But I like good conservative play there. Alright. Warshrieker's online. Let's go. Alright, let's... We've got 3 9 mana here. So I guess this impulse is just good to do now, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 things to do as is. So let's see if this gets us anything else. Okay, okay. Go again. Okay. Alright, so we get Burning Tree in there. Let's get Elementalist. What do I want to rebuy with this? I can go land Ephemerate Relay for 7. No, I can't because they activate in response. Oh no, wait, yes I can because I'm ephemerating the Warshrieker. They can't kill that. Yeah. Okay, let's try and do this. Still don't know what I'm drawing to. I'm taking game actions because they're fun. Alright, Ephemerate, Veteran, Campus. They activate Clue. Okay, a whole bunch of other things. My favorite strategy so far with Galvanic Relay is just not to think until I get to my turn. I think it's been the most effective so far, as I'm very clearly winning this match. My logic is infallible. Opponent seems to be coming to the terms with the fact that my deck cannot kill from this position and is getting aggressive. I like it. Okay, this Ephemerate has no targets. Alright. Okay, let's see what we got here. Alright, start with Veteran, so that we can gain those precious life points. Burning Tree Emissary. Probably just investigate right now with the mana. Oh, I cannot cycle Ash Barrens. That's not how that card works. That's discarding is a pretty important part of that. So now I've got this floating white. And cast Spirited Companion. So this bolt was from the impulse, so it does go away right now. How long do the relay cards stick around? No, they also go away. I guess I just throw the bolt upstairs, and if they attempt to pestilence away my creatures, I will ephemerate. But if they don't, then I'll just let it go away. And I will take this opportunity now to ephemerate my Thraben Inspector. Access a little more cardboard. Yeah. The Lone Missionary. I'm not saying we're winning this game by any stretch, but we were starting to get close enough to, where maybe if we like string together a few more creatures and hit both massive rays, then, maybe we could have a little something, but I think we are beyond that point now. All right. And we are finally out of action, so I think we're pretty dead here. As in, we are very dead on their turn. I don't think they would ever not kill me. So, sideboarding. What do we have going on? We got 2 Ardent Elementalists. X1s are very poor, but like rebuying our card advantage is going to be pretty nice. And do I want Prismatic Strands? Strands can be useful. If they're very tight on mana when you get to a Pestilence activation, but I don't believe that's really where we want to be. I think we still want these 2 Elementalists in, and what do we want to cut? I think just Spirited Companion is going to be our weaker one by a lot. Priest of Ancient Lore attacking and gaining life is just going to be pretty important versus their deck. Happily take the play here. This is the thinker. I think I'm going to keep it. Honestly, I think I just play Mountain Go. And I will wait and see what my next draw step is to decide how to Ash Barrens. I think it's worth waiting a turn here. I think I'm just going to get a Plains now, having that second priest there. And we'll see. I can hit like one more land here. Untap land would be positively scrumptious. Okay, it's not an untap land. Okay, this card's looking good. Garrison? Windscarred Crag, will take it. That's alright. Really want to hit one more land here and we can have the sick relay turn. Oh, I have to discard? Second Warshrieker is probably not too crucial to this game. Probably concede to the Pestilence here. Okay, Lone Missionary. That is fine. Offer up a little trade here. And I think I'm going to put in another priest because if I draw a Plains, I can cast Thraben Inspector, and you'll love to see it. That's just good sequencing. Okay. So, we do see one unfortunate element of deck building here, where Ephemerate plus Warshrieker is neutral on white mana, so you don't get to like blank up your chain. You just kind of like generate more red and black mana. But it doesn't super matter because we have died. So yeah, we played this game enough last time and couldn't really get out of it, so happy conceding here. Good games, opponent. See you for round 2. Welcome to round 2. We're versus Mebibite. What is this avatar? A Johnny Extra Life? Well, that's cool. It's a nice memento. Okay, we have a playable hand here. Basically Innistrad Limited, I guess. Guess these two cards were together in... Actually, I don't know if Lunarch Veteran was in the double feature. Okay, they're on fairies. So basic island, not snow, means that this is either mono blue or blue black. I think really we just want to get our Lunarch Veterans down. Because we do clog up the ground enough that it's hard for their ninjas to get there. But if they have Ninja of the Deep Hours, it's bad. No ninjutsu is good. I think I'll just run out another Lunarch Veteran. If they sprite this, we still get a thing we can do in the graveyard. Counterspell sounds fantastic. So they don't have sprite in hand, which is going to be potentially valuable information for next turn. Okay, now they have Ninja. Untap land for Priest of Ancient Lore would be great here. Yeah, we'll take that. I think I'll just be mana efficient here and flashback Lunarch Veteran. We're basically going to be under the gun of Sprite this entire match, so... Or particularly with this hand. So I don't think it's realistic to like save Phantasm for a turn when they only have access to one fairy in play. I'll accept getting blown out by Gutshot or whatever. So they didn't have Sprite before. They had a ninja draw and 2 draw steps to see it though, so that's the risk of if I play Burning Tree Emissary into Priest, so I think I'll just play Priest instead and say Counterspell in specific needs to be the card. Okay. Oh, okay. So they look like they just drew another creature. Alright, so now we'll Burning Tree into Impulse. See if we can go like spell land drop here. I can at least get that in there. Okay, Force Spike, I see. That's a touch unfortunate, because now it means that this raid can't kill the Delver, which is sort of the thing we'd like to kill here. Also unfortunate that we can't cast a raid off of Warshrieker, but such is life. I think we're desperate enough to hit lands here that I just want to impulse again. Okay, Plains is great here. Plains Lightning Bolt is great here, so I guess I get to kill this that way. I had mutagenic growth too, okay. Cast the Inspector, and I don't think we attack. I think we would like to trade with Ninja of the Deep Hours here. Alright, so let's start by attacking with Raven Inspector, and then we're going to Burning Tree Emissary into Warshrieker into Impulse. Okay. Try to Impulse into something else here. Guess this keeps us from dying this turn. As long as the Delbert continues not to flip. This is 6 damage. I guess we're dead to mutagenic growth. Or snap, sure. And this is kind of what I was talking about with boarding, like when you plan for fairies before. If you want to build a sideboard with that deck in mind, you can't. You have to have your main deck constructed where every card matters to that deck, because you don't get to choose what cards resolve post-board, so you just have to accept that nothing will resolve or be productive. But we do have these two End the Festivities, which slot nicely for these massive raids that are unlikely to really perform. We do have these Prismatic Strands, which are specifically good versus mono blue. I think I'd like to have 3 copies of them in the deck. I don't believe I want, honestly, just any of these 4-drops, because they're going to be bringing in blue elemental blasts of their own, and that just is not really conducive. Why is this 60? Did I submit a 61 card deck? That would be exciting. I submitted a 62 card deck. Ah. Oh, we are really memeing this time. Oh boy. Oh my. 62. I messed up pretty good there. Oh, we're probably like what? Like 40 minutes into 50 minutes into this video with like a 62 card main deck. Oh, we're having fun. This is good. So I think let's do 2 elementalists, I guess. $62 card special. We love to see it. I think we can do better. This hand is better. I think we just put back Galvanic Relay number 2, because this first one actually like plays versus their counter spells. I guess I'll play this mountain so that I can cycle Ash Barrens and cast Lightning Bolt this turn if I wanted to. I think I'm just going to play this tap land. And we can do an interesting game on our turn where we can play one of these 1-mana red spells and like hopefully force some action. And okay, let's bolt this now. I think they have Force Spike, but okay, they also just have Dispel, sure. This is interesting. So, like, now at the end of the festivities doesn't have a really great way to... Like, we could just spew it for 1 card on the relay next turn. But I suspect it is better, more valuable than a random card right now. But the fact that they have this ninja in particular means that I am, like, really interested in getting Burning Tree down right now. So maybe I am just supposed to spew off this and the festivities. I feel like Spirited Companion and then like see what that draw step brings is not going to be good enough. So yeah, let's Burning Tree and the festivities. Relay. Okay, we had Strands, another Relay, Thraben Inspector. Okay, they just Hydra the blocker. So now there's like an interesting game here. So we cast Thraben Inspector. Okay, they did not do anything about that. Alright, let's try Spirited Companion now. I think we might just be saying goodbye to these cards here. We'll try to get in on double blocking this ninja this turn. If they have another ninja for Spell Stutter, I think we're just actually dead, but... Let's see what our draw step brings us. It's one of the few things that does not get Spell Stuttered, and it blocks really well right now, so it's going to be foolish versus their card counter spell, but at least we beat the sprite. Yeah. Alright, good games, opponent. And we'll see you for round 3. Alright, here we are, round number 4, or 3. 3 is the number of counting. With the 62 card special that is now too far gone. This sounds pretty great, actually. Looks like a great limited deck. Oh my, Ancient Spring. Invasion, Sackland, be still my heart. So, I haven't seen Ancient Spring. That was like, the Rush of Knowledge, Gourmet Gangler kind of builds of Storm with energy tap, right? I think that was the last time I saw a Spring. I think we want to play Companion here because we'll deploy these at, like, this Inspector is going to be useful for turning on Galvanic Relay in the future, but not right now. And the Companion's much worse at that. Okay, they cycle Street Wraith, so maybe they're Cycle Storm with Sacklands. That would also be interesting. Okay, basic forest is surprising. I'll say that much. Okay, yeah, so it's Cycle Storm with Invasion Lands. Oh, I don't know what this Tinderwall is doing here then. I don't know. So, do I think lightning bolting that is good? I don't think it is. Do not believe it is. So we'll probably just play out the other companion here. Alright, we've got another untapped land lined up for next turn. I'll play this mountain out so I can bolt a Stinger if they go for all in on that this turn. Curious. I think I probably just, having drawn BT, I probably go all in on a relay this turn. And by all in, I mean I get a storm off for 3. Just not nothing, but far from impressive. Compared to our opponent's combination strategy. So we hit land, relay. Honestly, not the worst. So the next turn we get to go bolt, relay, hit a land drop. Which is not tremendously exciting. Or are they going to get to use my storm count here for their reaping the graves? That'd be sick. That is sick. Oh gosh. Just getting brutally punished for playing my lousy storm deck versus a slightly less lousy storm deck in the O2 bracket. That's awesome. That is awesome. a third variety of sackland. Oh no. I hope there's just one of each. I really do. Give me an irrigation ditch in there. Alright, so we'll attack with everything here. They take 3, go to 9. We'll bolt upstairs, put them to 6. And if we get to my upkeep, we can massive raid to win. Oh, they're choosing to take 4. This is a real shame. That now I'm just 1 point off of killing them. Or 1 red mana. I don't believe there's a single draw step with this clue token that I could go for that gets me there. But I think I'm going to do it because I think my play is going to be hope that they cycle Street Wraith and think that 6 life is safe when it is not. And the Crag will be the better life gain source here to make their life a little bit harder. Okay, we have a plan. It's not a good plan. Okay, they recognize that this is the turn. 5 colors of mana are floating in the pool. This is great. I'm loving this. Yeah, like I don't even think we bolt the stingers here. I think we just have to say that Street Wraith is the problem. Because if they find a Songs of the Damned here, it's just going to be trivial for them to win anyway with this one stinger. I don't know. Teachings for another songs, okay. So this is going to be crucial to see. So first off, we have to wait for them to stack the reaping triggers, even if we want to kill the stingers. We need to let these go on the stack. They also have teachings for another reaping available to them, so it's probably extra not worth it to get them here. Okay, but they did target the Street Wraith with one of them, so there's hope. There's hope. There is hope. And by hope, I mean they can probably cycle in response to kill me anyway, so it doesn't matter. But okay, we're going to go for it. I'm going to do it. They've only got 8 cards in hand. How? Surely. Nobody's ever done this before. Surely they can kill me. Now they figured it out. I think this is still right to do it this way. Like, the stinger damage up to this point hasn't mattered, so I don't feel like I had this game and I threw it away. I think it's just always destined to lose, and that's okay. We just hope that they draw too many mana sources here, but also like not enough mana sources that they can't teachings for something. I don't think that combination of cards actually exists at this point. But we're gonna try. Yeah, maybe if it's just 8 lands in hand. Alright, they got it. So, sideboarding versus Cycle Storm. Lone Missionary is good to just buy a little time and pressure. And prismatic strands is going to be good as well. What do I not want? I think I want to cut the relays because we're bringing in these slightly, like, the relays are very bad with strands, and I think similarly I want to cut some of these reckless impulses. Yeah, let me just cut reckless impulse altogether. I'll bring in another elementalist, so maybe we can set up the strands lock. Yeah, let's do that. And then I'll trim another Warshrieker since our curve's getting higher. Yeah, let's try this. On the play, that's gotta be good for us, right? This Ash Barons, once again, not Boros Guildgate being a pretty big issue. I think we can, Yeah, I think we just have better hands. I think this is better. And I'm gonna put back the massive raid. We'll probably just turn to this Burning Tree Emissary and bolt upstairs. I think I like that. Or, nah, Actually, let's put the Thraben Inspector now. So this way we get better mana efficiency over this 2-turn cycle. So that if I don't draw a land, I can go Burning Tree Emissary, crack the clue token. I think that's going to be better. So we attack for 1 less damage this way, but I think we get better use of our mana. Alright. Tinderwall is going to be a big draw here, as like, if they can access that, it's going to save them a tremendous amount of life like it did last game, but if we can have another awkward game like this, that'd be great. Boros Garrison's just an absurd draw here. And by absurd, I mean probably like the bare minimum for us to continue playing. Ooh. Oh, it's happening. It's happening. I'm also curious that they discarded Wild Cantor. They do have red mana via the sack part of the sack land. I can understand it's not a tantalizing use of your mana, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, see, that's what happens when I play Cycle Storm. Oh, Veteran's actually a great draw here, too. And I guess I'll just activate the clue token first. Floating white. And now we are presenting lethal. They have they have 7 creatures in the graveyard for songs. They can morphose into black. Yep, okay. Alright, so they're working with 8 mana here. Green on the morphose is interesting. It's not what I would have guessed the colors to be. We got a game. We got one. We're on the board with a game. Can we make it a match? Can we make it a match? That'd be great. And the festivities has text versus wild cantor. That's a sentence right there for you. Yeah, let's do it over Warshrieker. Because I think it also, it lets our 2-power creatures attack through or kill a Tinder Wall. And maybe that's just, any enough of an interaction to get the job done. Or we can draw both of them and kill a Drannith Stinger. That's just good deck building. All right, this is a good mulligan. Ash Baron's coming back to bite us. Do we go to 4? I think we go to 4. This just has no castables. This has some castables. Alright, Elementalist goes away. Ephemerate goes away. Veteran number 2 goes away? I think so. Okay, Lone Missionary, that's a clock. Get to play that on turn 2. Tinderwall is illegal. You can't have it. Oh, they're getting a lot of mana over there. Well, that's something to play towards, at least. Next turn will be the real question of, do we fear enough to hold it up or deploy the Priest of Ancient Lore? So they have as much mana as they really want, so any read that we're going to make is going to be based on some context other than mana. That is unusual. The Wild Cantor blocking game wasn't really on my radar, to be honest. I guess I attack. I think I actually play out the land here because I don't care about hitting a tap land on this draw step, but I do care about hitting a white or red, or basically a white. One drop does matter. I have 7 of those in my deck. So shields are very much down for this turn, but can be up in the future. They're currently songs for 6. It's gonna be teachings? Yeah, okay. Electrickery, oh no. No. Oh. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, that's so bad for us. Okay, well, I guess I'm attacking with Lone Missionary and Lunarch Veteran. They cast Electrickery by sacrificing both Wild Cantors. I can Strands the front half and then hold up Flashback for their turn. These make red on their own, yeah. Unfortunately, it does tell them face up that, like, hey, here's this card, you should play your turn around, but they've conceded. We got one. We got one. We're on the board. We've got a match. Good games, opponent. Teachings for Trickery from Cycle Store. I was not expecting that in the Wild Cantors. There's a whole lot going on there. Alright. 3 down, 2 to go with 62 card Warshrieker Storm. Alright. Round number 4. Up against a G for Gregarious. I like that username. And his hand is eminently keepable. We've got some fun things going on here. So if they're just on burn, we do have a Lightning Bolt for a Thermo Alchemist. Or a Festival Crasher. I'm not picky. We are disguising ourselves as Boros Bully so far. Okay, Kiln Fiend. Well, that's good. They're on 2 lands, so their hand is all action. I don't think I'm going to block this turn. Just don't think there's a ton that gets here. And I'm only saving 1 life, and we just immediately recoup the life gain by having a creature interplay. I think my hand's gummed up enough right now that I just want to deploy some of these and not relay right now. Ephemerate's a really cool draw, actually. So they are a Lava Dart deck, but I think I'd still like to try to get some block value out of this Ephemerate. Maybe that's wrong. Well, Crash Through it certainly looks wrong now. I'm just gonna plop that one right down there. If they go like mutagenic, Teamer Battle Rage, I'm pretty dead, but can gain 2 life in response, so what about that? It's not gonna be enough. Okay, mutating that suggests they want to play another turn beyond this one. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. The Lava Dart. This is currently 17 damage. This is a lot more than my life total, even if I gain the 2 here, so no reason to show them that I'm an Ephemerate deck. Okay, Mama Red. So I think we want this Strands Elementalist package brought in again. Lone Missionary is pretty interesting. Kind of down for that. Massive Raid is tough to cut because it is like functionally a removal spell sometimes. I think Warshriekers are going to be bad because we're not going to be able to attack into their creatures. I think Relay's going to be tough when we have this much top end coming in, and then I think Impulse as another cut there is good enough. I don't believe this hand does enough. These 2 are uncastable at the moment and not even very good if we get to them. It's basically 3 lands, Inspector, and Ephemerate, and I think we just have 6 card hands that are better. I think this is slightly better. And I think we bottomed the BTE because the mana is not important for Storm Count right now, and if we get double red, I'd rather be casting Massive Raid in that situation. Happy to tap out for Priest of Ancient Lore. Majoring Bully's unlikely to kill me. Not impossible, just unlikely. But not going to block a prowess creature like that. They've got far too many tricks up their sleeves. I think I will just bolt the Crasher here. They likely have something to save it, but yep, that's totally fine. Just want them to use that now instead of later. So if they just like play a land and go straight to combat, what am I doing? Am I just going no blocks, no fear? Probably at least block Inspector on Crasher, right? Maybe Inspector plus Missionary. Because I suspect that their hand does not contain mutagenic growth, because mutagenic is a much cleaner answer to Lightning Bolt than Apostle's Blessing. And I believe they know that. So I think I do want to do this. And if they like Lava Dart my Lone Missionary, I think that's a pretty reasonable exchange as well. Okay, so they top deck mutagenic growth. Oh, am I just dead? Alright. Good games, opponent. Maybe I should have held up Strands, but it's a pretty unlikely combination, I think. Especially since I put them on distinctly not mutagenic growth, and I think that was like a reasonable call. So, alright, we're 1-3. We'll see you for round 4. Or 5. Alright, the final round. We're 1-3. Can we claim 50 play points on this 2-3? Not with this hand, we're not going to do it. Mulligan. This hand is not going to do it either. I know I'm on 62 and the mana base is already sketchy for this deck, but I assure you it's running a little cold tonight. Okay. This is 5, so we got to put 2 back. I think we put back Mountain and Ephemerate, likely. Ah, now there's 2 of them. Now it's really getting out of hand. Got a Plains here. Redraw the Ephemerate anyway. Okay, they have the Rustveil Bridge in hand, so it's looking like a slow start for them. Alright, so we can attack if they don't play Core Skyfisher here. I'll attack it over Kuldotha Rebirth. I don't fear. I don't fear. Okay, so the Warshrieker is in play. Unless I get mana tithed. The Warshrieker is in play. I don't think I want to Ephemerate the Shrieker, even though I have like good things to spend my mana on. I think I want to Impulse here, see if I hit a white 1-drop off of this. And okay, cool. We didn't play into that. That's good. And there's our Thraben Inspector, so we're back in business. Okay, so next turn. Unfortunately, I don't think we get to trigger Raid here, because I think this Inspector actually like matters versus the Goblin token, so just like trading it for 1 up front. Or no, wait, I actually kind of like that. Yeah, trading with the Goblin token's gonna be fine here. Yeah, so this is actually okay, this attack is fine. And then we go Burning Tree, Mardu Warshrieker. Unfortunately, can't use the bolt to try to blow them out here, but that's fine. Put red-black into this clue token. Do I want to play Lunarch Veteran instead of Thraben Inspector? I believe I do. Because then we gain the life off of Thraben Inspector. And if they kill this, then we, get value out of that as well. Okay, Galv Blast for Warshrieker. Okay, totally fine. Probably blast away the... Yeah. I think that we'll have opportunity to trade the veteran in the future, and like that we are immediately recouped on the 1 life gain here. Vault of Whispers. Fascinating. Okay, they're F6, so we can take advantage of that by casting this Ephemerate. Unfortunately, drew it in that order, but it's alright. I don't really want to bolt the Samurai token, because they have cards like Glint Hawk that I would rather be bolting. And I'm going to do that. So we do get to like set up some cool things with the Elementalist here. We're going to have Ephemerate, Elementalist plus Bolt. Obviously it gets like broken up by anything that they do, but... They have drawn a lot of cards here. Old border Thraben Inspector blocks the new border one, the Moral Victory. Alright, let's pop out this Exile Zone. Doing it this way, we lose the ability to bolt this turn, but then we get to set up our loop going for the long haul. So they've seen 3 of their 4 blast 1 of the lightning bolts, so it's pretty likely that the Elementalist dies here, but if it doesn't, we really get to just keep rolling things through, which is sick. Well, looks like we're getting another turn with it. That's exciting. Impulse is nice for next turn. If they interact with Elementalist, we get another way to start snowballing card advantage. We're doing things. Opponent's flooding a little bit. Issue's going to be that they likely have Rally the Peasants in their deck, so like I am interested in trying to contain these creatures as much as possible with this Lightning Bolt. And Ephemerate combo. Okay, we just take that. Let's get an impulse in here. Get some attacks in, start pressuring them. I know these trades are all bad-ish, but impulse again, floating white. This mountain is from the first impulse. Guess it doesn't really matter. I guess for mana efficiency here, I do this because I still have access to both of these next turn. Nice. Okay, okay. I guess let's companion first. That changes the most about our actions because we don't draw from the inspector this turn. We're just going to be casting it for storm. I guess we have 5 mana floating here. I guess we do activate a clue token. Because if we hit like Burning Tree Emissary, that's another free storm. Another, I mean like the first free storm. Priest? Or, oh, do I have mana floating? I don't have mana floating. Excellent, okay. So I can... do I even attack with Warshrieker? No, actually I don't think I do. Never mind. Ignore me. Whatever. Relay, draw 3. Okay, not pretty, but we're getting there. Yeah, I just don't think trading Warshrieker for a single Thraben Inspector is going to be what we want to do. It just has more value blocking. I guess that's not even necessarily true. Maybe I just can't bring myself to do it. We are starting to get close on massive. And we're not getting close on massive raid, but we're doing things. Alright, so Plains, Boros, Garrison are relay cards. The other 2 are impulse cards. We've already got 3 storm here, so this is pretty good if we go Plains, Bolt the Glint Hawk. Relay for 5. Okay, they're killing the Warshrieker, that's fine. So they that's all the Galvanic Blasts, 2 Lightning Bolts. They probably have a Rally the Peasants in their deck. Okay, they've conceded. Awesome. Cool. I thought there was still a lot of game left there. That was going to be cool. So, wait, did we relay into another relay? Oh, we were chaining. Oh, we were chaining them completely. Oh, that's so sick. Okay. That was awesome. I'm so happy with that game. We did so much. We took so many game actions. All right. They showed mono artifact land, so Dust to Dust seems cool. Again, this prison-y package seems like something I'm interested in. Spirited Companion looks like all-time low. Massive Raid also gets worse if we're doing this thing. And the Galvanic Relays are much worse. I think, like, I know I've boarded out Mardu Warshrieker a lot, but I think just like baseline 3/3 sits in play, does nothing else, is going to be helpful. And the Festivity is also a thought, but it only cleans up Kuldotha Rebirth. I feel like that's not worth it. Alright, let's give this a shot. I say that after winning a game that was just like chaining relays. It was starting to pop off at the end there. I've been burned by a lot of non-functional mana hands, so I'm kind of maybe more inclined to keep this than I would be otherwise. Also, classic Burning Tree Emissary Dust to Dust deck. I think we just play out the 2 Burning Tree Emissaries here. It does keep us 2 turns away from Dust to Dust, but because they've played this Garrison, like, we're 2 turns away from wanting to do it anyway, I think is my assessment. Like, I'm not really interested in going after their clue tokens with it. That's like not the axis you really fight Boros on. I want to just prevent them from hitting their mana. Dust to Dust also not castable off of Mardu Warshrieker. Just good deck building. Just good deck building. Oh, unless this is a Glint Hawk here, I feel pretty good about our position. Snack up some lands there. Now we got another weird turn. I could attack with both. They eat with Skyfisher, go to 10, play Warshrieker. Doesn't really get me anywhere. Could Elementalist pick up Dust? That's probably what I'm going to do. It's just a little weak because now they know it's coming, but that makes me like, if they know it's coming, why don't I just use the Dust in hand and hit Treasure Token, Rustvale Bridge? This is tough. This is tough. I don't know. I feel like they really don't want to use this treasure token. Yeah, I'm going to use the one in hand. Pick up a mountain here. And no attacks. It's probably like spare supplies, Glenhawk. Oh, okay, Galvanic Blast is... That's good for me here. Alright, so now we just Elementalist, rebuy one of these, get Crag into play, and hang out. Second Skyfish is probably the worst for us. Makeshift Munitions is okay, honestly. They're probably like pretty scared of Elementalist. Not scared, but like respecting it. Okay. Okay. Attack for our damage, as is my right. Warshrieker. Dust away 2 lands. Yeah, this mana floating, so I'm gonna Thraben Inspector and cantrip. And that's enough to Elementalist, Dust to Dust again next turn. Okay, we're gonna get him a little bit here. Strands on white. Eat the Skyfisher. Dust to Dust again. Another Skyfisher is, again, like a poor draw here. Cannot cast that. Just drawing. Okay. We got there. That's a 2-3. That's a 2-3. That was great. That was like a fantastic match. Fantastic match. Felt like we did some cool things there. We got to do like this Boros Ephemerate deck where Burning Tree mattered and getting us early tempo on the board. Warshrieker mattered, getting in there for damages because it's a hill giant and hill giants matter sometimes. And game 1 was really great where we just got to do a lot of the things I envisioned with this deck. Okay, that was good. That was worth it. That was worth it. I know our opponent got a little unlucky there. Don't get me wrong. Like, they were mana screwed in interesting ways, but we also like punished them for putting so many artifacts in their deck with this Dust to Dust Elementalist package. Like, we were ready. Cool. Let's see if Moto can let me send that, but good games opponent for sure. Awesome. So yeah, 2-3. Lost to White Black Pestilence. Mono Blue Fairies, beat Cycle Storm, lost to Mono Red Blitz, got obliterated by them. That wasn't even close. And snuck one out versus Boros Synthesizer. So I did adjust in between rounds. I did adjust this deck a little bit from what we saw, so that we are playing the 60 cards instead of 62. So this is, if I were to play this again, this is what I would do next. That Ash Barrens, maybe I'm just being too results oriented with it, but it felt bad in a lot of those. So I think just another Boros Garrison to try to hold things over would be a little bit better. And then from this pile of like 4-0s, I trimmed a Spirited Companion and a Reckless Impulse as some of the weaker card draw aspects. Impulse was pretty good. It had its moments, but it's dangerous if you hit like 2-4 drops, as Relay is, but Relay is like more powerful late into the game, I think. So I think just trimming down there. So it's still good, but I think a little bit clunkier. Or maybe it should be 4 Impulse, 3 Relay. Who knows? I feel like main deck accomplished what I was trying to do, and I'm pretty happy with that. The sideboard was adequate. The Elementalist, Dust to Dust, or Strands package felt like the most reasonable sideboard I've put together so far. And the Festivities was, mostly an Elves card. Could be something else, not really attached to that particular slot. But yeah, that was Boros Warshrieker Ephemerate Relay. Hooray! It was a lot of fun. Thank you for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope this at least sparked the joy that it did for me playing these random goofy cards, or made you think about playing some of these cards together in different ways in your own decks, or sparked some idea. I don't know, this has been a really rewarding creative process working on this, so hopefully some part of that game came across. I'm sure that my joy came across, particularly in that last match. I was really excited about that. That was great. So, yeah. Let me know what you think, and thanks for watching. Bye.